I would like to share with you my testimony about when Jesus revealed to me the meaning of the phrase, "This generation shall not pass away until all these things take place," which is found in Matthew 24:34. Matthew 24:34 states, "Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things take place." One day, when I shared the gospel with a fellow, he responded by telling me that the Bible is not true because Jesus told the disciples that everything he had explained to them in Matthew 24 would take place before that generation passed away, and since this did not take place, the Bible is not true. I did not know what to say to him at the time, but I knew the Bible was true and that the issue was our understanding of the Bible. Then one day, while I was on the internet, Jesus led me to a pastor's testimony of when Jesus revealed the meaning of "this generation shall not pass away until all these things take place" to him. Jesus revealed to him and to me as I read his testimony that when he said, "This generation shall not pass away until all these things take place," he was saying that the generation that recognizes that the events he described in Matthew 24 are taking place will be the generation that sees all these things take place, and will be the generation that sees the second coming of Jesus. Afterwards, I began thinking about everything that Jesus described to the disciples. While I was thinking about how these things occur as birth pangs, which is described in Matthew 24:7-8, I remembered that when the tornado hit Oklahoma City, the weathermen announced that they had to increase their charts because the tornado was stronger than any that had occurred in the past. I also remembered that I heard the weathermen crying out on the news about the increase in the number of tornadoes that are occurring every year. Then I realized that the entire world, including the unsaved, now recognizes that things are happening as birth pangs, which occur more often and more intense as the birth draws closer. It was at this time that Jesus revealed to me that the generation that recognizes that things are occurring as birth pangs has already passed, and I realized that we are the generation that will see his second coming. Matthew 24:7-8 states, "For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and in various places there will be famines and earthquakes, but all these things are merely the beginning of birth pangs." Because the entire world is focused on Israel, it is easy to see that the Antichrist will arise soon, and that when he breaks the peace treaty he will make when he first arises, he will capture Jerusalem, and he and the false prophet will set up the abomination of desolation that Jesus described in Matthew 24:15. Matthew 24:15 states, "Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation, which was spoken of through Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, let the reader understand." Now, since we know that the Antichrist will arise soon, we know that the second coming of Jesus and the resurrection will take place soon also, which is found in Matthew 24:29-30. Matthew 24:29-30 states, "But immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from the sky, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. And then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky. And then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of the sky with power and great glory. And he will send forth his angels with a great trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the sky to the other." Now, because we can see that an entire generation, including the unsaved, can see that things are occurring as birth pangs, and they are focused on the end times, even if the end time scenario is a counterfeit, such as the Mayan calendar. This reveals that we are the generation that will see all of the things that Jesus described in Matthew 24 take place, and that we are the generation that will see the second coming of Jesus.